Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's now time for the Pony Cake Sports Podcast with your hosts, Josh Stevens, Tim Thompson, and Tom Schultz. Woo!
Hey there, everybody. We are back again with another episode, and this time we are talking about who you should be sitting in your Week 5 fantasy football matchups. As always, I'm joined here with Tim. Tom is still out. I don't know what the deal is. Said he sounds like he's a little boy in puberty.
It's throat herpes.
We'll see what happens.
Tom's got throat herpes.
Too much screaming at the Colts game. At Mr. Reich for losing the game for him.
Yeah, you know, that throat herpes dominates even the best of us. But, Tom, get better, son, and we'll see you when you get back.
Tim, how you doing?
You know, I'm doing okay. It's the must-sit episode.
It is.
So, ready to get down on some fools.
All right, man, let's start it off. Quarterback, who you sitting this week?
This week, I am going to sit one... where am I at here? I am going to sit one... Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, interesting.
Against Minnesota, listen, the Vikings defense has been bad. They gave up big time to Jared Goff. They struggled the week before to Buffalo, but I feel like in a big time NFC matchup, I know they have to go to Philadelphia, but they've had that extra time this week. They've been preparing for what the Eagles are going to bring, and I just feel like this week I would not be confident in starting a Carson Wentz. Just his second start coming off of his injury against such a previously dominant defense in the Minnesota Vikings. So I am sitting Carson Wentz.
Wow, that's a very interesting pick there, Tim. What did he do? What did Wentz do last week? He did. Let me see where his numbers are.
Slightly above average.
He had 348 yards passing.
Yep.
And 2 touchdowns, but 1 fumble. So he had 20.7 points last week against the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans defense is pretty tough in Tennessee. Week 3, which was his first week back, he had 255 yards and a touchdown, interception, and a fumble. Only had 11 points total. So definitely an improvement from week 4 to week 4 from week 3. So very interesting there. Playing the Minnesota Vikings, man. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I'm in love with that pick.
You know, you don't have to love it. You have to respect it, though.
All right, I guess I'll respect it. All right, my pick. I think I am gonna go with you went with Tom Brady for the Thursday night matchup for the starts. Obviously, I'm probably gonna go to the other side and go with one Andrew Luck, who is playing New England, of course. Andrew Luck last week ended up with 35.7 points, 464, 4 touchdowns. I definitely do not see that happening again for Andrew Luck in week number 5 against the New England Patriots, especially in Foxborough. I like to see him around that point total where he was at, around that 15 to 19-point range. You look in weeks 2 and 3 against the Washington Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles, he had 11.4 and 13.9 points. I like Andrew Luck to be around that range as well again this week. I don't have faith in Andrew Luck going out there and putting up that same amount of points of 35 points. Just don't see it. Plus, if you look at that New England secondary, their defense as a whole, they only gave up 6.1 points to quarterbacks last week. They gave up 17.5 to quarterbacks in week number 3. Obviously, they let the great Blake Bortles put up 32.5 in week number 2. But also in week number 11, they only let up 11 to quarterbacks.
Yeah, Blake the Snake's pretty good. Andrew's just not there yet. So I don't hate the pick. I think he might still surprise you a little bit. So that's why it's not someone that I would go with, but it is what it is.
One other one, I'm going to throw out a name, Russell Wilson. That's another guy I would consider putting on the bench as well. I know I own Russell Wilson in a number of leagues. They're playing the LA Rams. LA Rams is obviously without one of their starting cornerbacks, possibly one of their other starting cornerbacks as well. With that happening last week with Minnesota, that Rams defense gave up 31.7 points to Kirk Cousins, which is pretty big. 422 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. I don't see that happening with Russell Wilson and the weapons that he has. So that's another one that I would temper those expectations for.
I agree.
Running back. Let's go ahead and move it on.
Oh, man. Running back is always a little bit tricky because of how the league has just switched completely to that day. I don't know if you'd call it swing running back, if you would. Just someone who is constantly in the passing game as well. But, okay, Mom, my computer is just... but my must sit or must stay away, James Conner. Bad week last week. I just don't think that he is should be as highly touted as people are saying he should be. Le'Veon Bell's coming back here in just a matter of weeks. And slowly but surely you're seeing that James Conner's not the guy we thought he was creeping into people's minds.
See, I like James Conner, just not totally for this week. I still think that he would be a solid option if Le'Veon Bell did not come back, or if they decided to move away from Le'Veon Bell. I still think James Conner's all right. You still look at James Conner, he's still running back number 6 overall. He had almost 10 points last week. His running production has been going down, obviously, since week number 1, where he had 31 carries, 435 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But he's still being involved in the receiving game. He hasn't had less than 3 receptions in any of the games and anything less than 25 yards receiving. So that's still pretty impressive as well. So I like James Conner. I don't mind you having him as a sit, especially they are playing Atlanta, so I don't know how I feel about that. Atlanta just gave up 31.3 points to Giovanni Bernard. 44 points to Alvin Kamara and company in week number 3. Carolina Panthers, 31 points. And the Philadelphia Eagles, 30. So maybe I don't agree with that totally. Maybe I think maybe James Conner is maybe a little bit higher on my list than you then. It'll be interesting. See how that shakes out. Let's see. One of the guys that I have as my sit. Let's see. I'm not going to say sit. I'm going to say temper those expectations. Alvin Kamara. Obviously, we all know Alvin Kamara is running back number 1, correct? Everybody knows that. Everybody in fantasy land knows that. They're playing the Washington Redskins. You all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Just cough, man.
So, Washington Redskins, I believe they're coming off their bye.
Yeah.
They should be planning for one Alvin Kamara.
You'd think.
Also, they have Mr. Mark Ingram coming back. I have a feeling that we're going to see Alvin Kamara not put up his 41, 34, 43 points that he's been putting up. Look more to that 10 to 15 range, which is still good for a running back, which is crazy to say.
That's a ballsy
but
play.
10 to 15.
It's a ballsy play. I don't hate it.
This is what we do here.
Hey, I don't hate it at all. I've been kind of singing to stay away from the New Orleans Saints running game. But you were going full throttle. Sit them all. I'm with you. Temper those expectations.
Wide receiver.
God, sorry. Hold on. Let me get things situated here. So no transition at all. Just boom. You just force it in.
Sorry, man.
Don't even spit on it first.
Yeah.
Just unappreciative. So wide receiver, again, full point PPR. Calvin Ridley.
Wow.
23rd ranked wide receiver. I still like him. I like what he brings to the table, but he should not be a wide receiver 2 right now. Not yet.
Actually, Calvin Ridley is a wide receiver 1 in full point PPR standings. He is wide receiver number 11.
And that's fine. It's mostly he's had 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks. That's why he is where he is. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna invest all that, especially if you're talking daily. I can't imagine. Tom would know best, but what his value is at there. I'm not putting my stock in that. So I do like Calvin Ridley and his future, but not his 5 touchdown in 2 week self.
I'm gonna go with. Man, see, I kind of wanted to piggyback on your Wentz's pick, but you know what? I'm going to go with Alshon Jeffrey. We all know Alshon Jeffrey came back last week against the Tennessee Titans. Again, we all know the Tennessee Titans defense is pretty good. He had 8 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown for 24.5 points. But he's going against Minnesota. I have a feeling, even though the Minnesota Vikings gave up a lot of points to Mr. Goff and company, they're going to be feeling a little disrespected, a little upset, a little embarrassed on how that Thursday night game went. They're going to have a little bit more extra time going into this game as well to plan for one Alshon Jeffrey and Carson Wentz. I'm going to go with Alshon Jeffrey as my sit for this week.
Love it. I love it.
All right, we are going to go ahead and transition to the tight end position.
Look at that! Look at that! It's still a terrible play, but you know what? I'm still. Well, maybe I am. Yeah, my sit this week is going to be one George Kittle.
George Kittle.
George Kittle had a monster week last week, primarily because of the 81-yard touchdown or something?
Yeah, it was
something
a huge reception.
Along those lines. You know, some people may be looking right now like, man, that is a sexy play. They're playing Arizona. Arizona's defense, especially against the Bears, even last week, much better than people expected. I would temper my expectations, and probably, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't be starting one George Kittle.
Mine is going to be one... where is he at? Jimmy Graham for the Green Bay Packers tight end playing the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions against tight ends the last couple of games. They have given up a touchdown in week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys. I believe that was your boy Swaim you were talking about, correct? Yeah. And then they also gave up a touchdown in week number 2 to San Francisco. Other 2 weeks, only 4 receptions, pretty much across the board. Under 50 yards for the most part, minus week number 3. All under 15 points. Jimmy Graham, under 12 points this week for me. Is there anybody else that really sticks out? I know we only did one in each one, but if you have another one, go ahead and throw it out there.
I don't, in all honesty. Especially in tight ends. Tight ends suck.
No, any position,
position. I don't like to talk to shit on people, Josh. I mean, I like to shit on all you guys.
What about, let me ask you this, Corey Davis. He put up 31.1 points last week. He is now ranked the 29th overall wide receiver. He's going to Buffalo. What do you think about Corey Davis? Should you be tempering those expectations for Corey Davis, or are you expecting another big game out of him?
Well,
look at what Buffalo has done against the wide receiver the last couple weeks. 34.9 points, 39.4 points, 31.2, and 42.7, which is right in the middle of the road.
It's hard to kind of comprehend because both these last 2 weeks against Buffalo, I believe we've told everyone to temper your expectations with Vikings people, just because it could be a blowout, and did the same thing with Aaron Rodgers the following week. My only concern is, make sure to, I don't want to even say temper them, but Corey Davis at the best, he's not going to be that 30-plus point guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be that 18 guy, a 20 guy. That's best case scenario for him. So as much as you may love him, don't be starting him expecting to get 30-plus points.
Kiki Kuti, wide receiver for the Houston Texans, made his first game action, 11 catches for 109 yards, good for 21.7 fantasy points.
Yep.
Also had 2 running attempts for -2 yards.
Yeah.
Thoughts on him? Is he...
No. Stay away from him.
Temper those
Everyone stay away from him. Don't temper him. Just stay away from him.
Stay away from him, all right?
You'll be embarrassed. If you start him, you'll be embarrassed.
Fair enough. Jordy Nelson, the last couple weeks, he's had some pretty good weeks. 29.3 points in week number 3.
Start.
17.8 week number 4. In week number 5, he plays the LA Chargers.
Start him.
Start him this week, huh?
Absolutely. Jordy has proven to be a valuable asset to that offense, and I just don't see how you could.
So let me ask you this: would you consider sitting or staying away from Amari Cooper?
No, not after last week. Still think Amari Cooper's the guy.
So this offense is finally going to open up.
It's slowly. Listen, as bad as John Gruden has been, as much as I hate him, establishing Marshawn Lynch the way that he has opened up the Amari Coopers and Jordy Nelsons of the world.
All right, fair enough, man. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this who you need to sit / stay away from in week number 5 for fantasy football. For Tim, Tom, and myself, we are Pony Keg Sports. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pony Keg Sports, at Pony_Keg_Tom, and at Fight Talk Tim. Email us ponykegsports@gmail.com with any of your fantasy football questions. And until next time.
Peace!